It just dawned on me that I did not put on my do not disturb. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm recording or going live like we are today, that do not disturb, it comes in handy because it never fails that when you don't turn it on, the phone calls come in. They come in. So, hey, let me get myself together now that we are working all the things out. Let's play some intro music and get the show started. Evening. I almost said afternoon, but it is 5 o'clock. It is 5 o'clock. Good evening. It is Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. Welcome to Small Biz Bites. Welcome. All right. Let me go ahead and call it because I'm going to go ahead and call it. Just a little bit on the tired side. I know. I've been running and gunning and it catches up with me from time to time. So I figured, although I am not really a person who gets a jolt from coffee, I thought perhaps I could enjoy a coffee-inspired drink, and that'll help me get through the rest of the day, because my day is not over. So I'm having an espresso teeny. Now, I don't know if I'm going to feel any different. I really can't tell you, but we'll find out soon enough as we get this going. First of all, let me go ahead and, I have to shout out my mother, who shows up the way she always does, gets her salutations in, because I really like her mother deciding to get all her salutations in while she's waiting for the show to start. So shout out to Mother for being here and making sure everybody feels welcomed. I will also go ahead and say that next week, while we're here getting things together, next week we have Nat. He's going to talk about overcoming self-sabotage as an entrepreneur. Don't know about you guys, but I do know there was a place, I shouldn't say was, because was means past tense. There are still times where I consciously, subconsciously do things that, hinder my progress and get in the way. It's not on purpose. And it's not constant, because clearly I'm doing like 5,000 things, but it does happen. And I do recognize it. So it will be awesome next week for Nat to share with us his own journey and advice for overcoming self-sabotage if you are a small business owner or an entrepreneur. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is also relevant for those of us who are still growing our career, whatever that career is. Sometimes we do things that hinder our progress. Sometimes we're aware of it. Sometimes we are not. So I can't wait to have Nat come on and talk about self-sabotaging. I also want to say, because it's early still, let me go ahead and get all my news in, that if you have not, I'm going to invite you to sign up to the GRH Jack newsletter, where we do some podcast, is it recaps? I think it's called recaps, right? Podcast recaps. We also share some other details about small business life, growing your career, sometimes podcasting, scheduling, how to manage it all. We do all of it, every single thing. So if you're not on the list, I'm going to highly suggest that you go ahead and get on that list. And as we're waiting for our guests, let me also give one more piece of news. And that is this Saturday, for those of us who are Prince fans, and you can't see my shirt, but I'm wearing my Purple Rain shirt right now. And I do have my Prince guitar pick. There you go, so make sure I can see it. For those of you who are Prince fans, we are celebrating this Saturday in the virtual space, Purple Rockers. It is a go brunch space, right? So you can definitely come on your phone. You can go on your phone. I suggest a tablet or a desktop laptop to have a really good experience, but you can always use your phone. But this Saturday, we will be celebrating the genius of Prince, sharing a lot of his music. And I gotta say, I am one of those fans that have music from way back when, music from the vaults, the audio files, stuff after, met a couple of DJs, bought their collection of music. So we got some serious stuff here. So we'll be sharing the music, sharing our stories, our favorite lyrics, concert memories, all the stuff. 4:00 p.m. Central. It's in Purple Rockers. In my bio, there is a link to A New Attitude. That's the name of the Go Brunch community. And if you just want to check out the room, you can go there now and check out the room. It is a come and go as you see fit, so you don't have to stay the entire time. But I have found that with Prince fans, when we get together, it is very hard for us to kind of come and go. Because once you start down that path of sharing your favorite song, your favorite memory, the first album you purchased, the first concert you went to, being part of the NPG club, NPG music club, you kind of like everybody just gets into a different spot, and it's just moving. And you've got the music. Some of us go deep into the lyrics and do all the, the why did he create this, so on and so forth. So if you're available, I'm going to invite you guys to come because it's going to be fun. And hey, speaking of, shout out to Richard. Oh, the creator and founder of Go Brunch. You know what, Richard, we're going to have you come on. We have to find a day and time to have you share your genius behind Go Brunch. Definitely a life-changing, don't want to say software, right? Software? But just in terms of being able to do virtual classes, webinars, create communities, get with like-minded people, it has been the best. It's where I spend a good chunk of my time. Not gonna even lie about it. I spend a good chunk of my time in someone's Go Brunch space, if not my own. So that's how great it is. And we also want to shout out, Tanya's here. Good evening to you, ma'am. Good evening. And yes, okay, so Tanya will be there. Yeah, I'm excited. I still have a few more songs I want to upload, right? Because I want to create a mix. I have a good mix of some things from his first album, the 80s, you know what I'm saying? When he went through his phase, and I shouldn't say phase, because it's not a phase. Like, the man was fighting for his artistic rights, right? So when he was a slave, okay? And then we have all the other stuff, because he produced a lot of music that if you wanted it, you had to buy it from him. Which at that time, people thought, why is he doing that? I don't understand. And now we understand the importance of owning your masters, of owning your music. We have plenty of content creators now fighting for their content and to be paid appropriately. So now we understand he was already doing he was doing the work. So it's going to be a good one if I can get all the music. Oh, great. You know what? We're going to get this figured out, Richard. We're going to get this figured out because I believe there are a lot more people who could benefit from a Go Brunch community. Like, it could truly extend their brand presence and also the customer's experience overall, right? Nothing against, the Zooms and the Teams and any other virtual space, but there's something, I'm not going to say something missing. It could be stronger. I have found that, humans being visual animals, being able to be in the space that it reminds you of something, the beach, a club, a wine bar, the classroom, it brings a different feel when you have that space to work in or to chat with other people. So, like I said, when I had a chance to make a space dedicated to Prince and his music, trust me, I was all in. I was like, we have to get everything together. Now we are still waiting for, I guess, I don't know if maybe I should make sure things are good. Hold on here, people. Let me see. Let me make sure that everything is working well. And I will also, full disclosure, my doorbell is ringing because Gwendolyn has a case of wine being delivered today, and something said, Gwendolyn, this case of wine is going to be delivered during your live. Like, that's just Murphy's Law, right? And because it's wine, you have to sign for it. So lucky for me, as I'm listening, the husband is answering the door, so I don't have to stop my live and go get my case of wine at the door. But what can I tell you, right? These are the things that we're really concerned about. It's like, really, Gwendolyn? Do you need to know that? Yes. You need to know that. You need to know that we do have a case of wine that is being delivered. Okay, so we're still waiting for our guest here. I want to make sure things were good, but it looks like everything's good. We just have to wait for her to get the link. Hold on. And sign herself in. Hold on here. Pardon. Oh, yes. Thank you, Tanya. The money is in the masters. There we go. Because I don't think people, well, we understand it now. Now we understand the importance of owning your content, owning your music, your poetry, your photography. We understand that now. And yes, priorities. I know. It never fails. Like, you always tell people, hey, it'd be great if you could have it delivered between here and there. And then, of course, something said they are going to come just as soon as I go on the air. I'm so happy that he was able to be home a little early. Otherwise, I really would have stepped away to sign for it, because we're not doing a redelivery. I mean, like, hey, that's just, don't really want to do that. But yeah, they're knocking at the door to everything. And I was like, okay, want to make sure I get my wine and everything is good, and the wine fridge stays the way it is. So while we are waiting for our guest, I'm trying to see, I don't think there is, we're waiting for a message here. While we're waiting for our guests, if there are questions, I want you guys to go ahead and put them in the chat. You can put a Q in front of it so that we don't miss the question. Definitely want to have that there so that we make sure that our guest has every opportunity. Hold on here. Pardon me. Every opportunity to get the questions answered. Okay. All right. We'll wait there. We'll wait. But yeah, this is the life that we have, that we make sure things are good. We're planning for all the things. We're shopping through the internet, because I could have easily gone to the wine store, but I don't know. If I have to deal with parking, I'd rather it just come to the door. And I'm certain some of you have definitely taken advantage of the services of things coming to your door. And I do recall the first time I had alcohol delivered to my father. He was completely amazed by it. I was like, yes, Father, we're doing those kinds of things now. You no longer have to get in your car and travel across town. They will bring the whiskey and everything else to you. All you have to do is sign. So we do appreciate the fact that we've come a ways in terms of how we're living. And if I may, while we're waiting here, let me just take a sip. Hold on. It's a lot of espresso in this espresso genie. Oh my goodness, a lot of espresso. If I may, when I think about how we work and how we live now, and when I read articles that still talk about how being remote kills innovation, how being remote doesn't help you create camaraderie, I'm going to say this really quick. That's baloney. It is baloney. I met Tanya through a Go Brunch space, and a few others, as a matter of fact, through a Go Brunch space. And the amount of camaraderie and teamwork that we have never met in person. I'll say yet. I'm good for a road trip. We've never met in person yet. But having not met in person, but being able to work in this virtual space as colleagues, because we're solopreneurs, right? We're small business owners, but we get together as this virtual team, create content. We talked about copyright issues in Peggy's space last week, but we're able to have these conversations in a community of people, and we're just as strong as any other team that would be meeting face-to-face 5 days a week. As a matter of fact, I believe we're even stronger. I do believe it because it's not forced. We are people who have come together with, I'll say, like values, and we have a genuine want to support other people. And we are just literally pouring into each other. We had a great chat this morning. The month is almost over, just in case you guys didn't know. April 15th was yesterday, right? We're on the other side of that now. So now we're on the side of half the month is gone. The second quarter just started. Okay, I don't know where those first 2 weeks, but I don't know where they went. I can't tell you. I'm sitting here thinking, did I get everything that I was supposed to get done? But the month isn't over yet, but you find yourself saying, where's the time going? Right? So we had a conversation, just free flowing, where we are sharing some of our wins. We're sharing advice to keep us going to finish this month strong. And everybody is sharing freely and being celebrated. There isn't this deal of, oh, well, I don't want to share anything because so-and-so. No, that's the beauty of real community and finding people to hold you accountable and to work with even as a solopreneur. And I know a lot of people as entrepreneurs, small business owners, believe that you have to do this by yourself. You do not. You don't have to do this by yourself. You can just easily find a really good group of people to work with. And let me see. Yeah. You can find people to work with, and you can go so much farther together versus trying to do this by yourself. And even if you've been burned, because we've all had some relationships with other people that probably haven't gone very well, it doesn't mean that there's someone else out there who's that kind of person. There are good people out here in the world. As Tanya says, I thought the drive-up liquor store was innovative. Yes, they have them here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area too. I thought, when I first saw it, I thought, really? You can just drive up and actually get something to drink? Okay. But now we have it at our fingertips. It just makes sense. At this point, the fact that we have a lot of things, and for those of us who remember the .com boom and then crash, there were people who were suggesting that we have groceries delivered. They were just too ahead of their time. And sometimes that happens, right? You have a really good idea, but you're too ahead of the game and people aren't ready for what you're trying to do. And so you say to yourself, is it going to struggle? Am I going to survive? It depends. It really depends. So a lot of those .coms, well, yeah, they are the way of the dodo bird. But fast forward, and here we are, where you're getting your McDonald's delivered, your Popeyes, your notepads, your pens, your liquor, your body lotion. We just live differently. So when it comes to work, I don't understand why we are, okay, take it back. I don't understand, yet I also understand. I don't understand the fight for us to maintain an old way of working, just like an old way of learning. Like it took forever for some people to even bring on an online schooling and higher education, because it's like, well, you have to be here. Well, no, you don't. Like, you don't. I mean, at the end of the day, some of these lectures, no, you don't have to be in person. Some people do function better when they are face-to-face, and we understand that. That's why if you don't have the mindset to manage your time and get stuff done and work by yourself, online learning isn't for you. The same way that some people function better working inside an office because they like to be around other people and they need that little extra zhuzh. I am a loner. I don't mind being by myself. I'm okay. And the work will get done. As a matter of fact, I could have sworn more people worked harder and were actually more productive when they worked at home. versus being at the office. Because at the office, we are going to sit around the cooler. We're going to BS. I mean, it's what I was doing when I was there. So, hey, surely I'm not the only one who did it. Tanya also says, so true. The bond is strong. Entrepreneurship can be lonely. And I am so blessed to be in a circle, such an amazing group of luminaries. That's the word you had this morning. Luminaries. Yes, I do remember that one. I'm going to add that to my vocabulary too. And shout out to our second partner, one of our other partners, Gary Jackson Jr. is here as well. Thank you, sir, for tuning in. I will bring you all up to date here. Our guest, I don't know if they're having some technical difficulties, but she is not here yet. So we'll give her some more time to see if we can work out all the kinks. But you know, technology is technology. That's how I see it. It never fails. Absolutely never fails. I always say, look, when I was teaching my classes and I had my team, we would make plan A, B, C, D, and E. Because something would happen, it never fails. You can practice 1,000 times. And the day you're supposed to go live and teach this class and do whatever else, the computer doesn't want to work, someone's password isn't connecting, this system is down, like all the things happen. And what you do is you just roll with it, because you're going to have to roll with it and figure out, okay, well, since we don't have any internet, and it's not coming up anytime soon, let me do day 3 now, and then I'll come back to day 1, because I don't have to do them together. I mean, day 3 is not impacted by day 1. Let me go ahead and do day 3. So what I'm not going to do is send them home. Like, we need to take advantage of this time while we have them. So yeah, gotta do that. Shining your light on others. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. Yes, tech will be teching. That's the world we're living in. And I will say this, being hardwired, I know for myself, has made all the difference, because when I was using Wi-Fi, as great as it is, you know, it can be a hindrance when it can't get all the information shared quickly, right? So I learned I need to be hardwired. And when you're streaming, I highly suggest it. Being hardwired is the way to go. Just to let you guys know how we do it. I literally have 3 cords running in here, because I'm always moving the laptop around and where I record. So we take it all over the place. Could we be wireless? Yes, we could be, but we don't have to be. Hey, it looks like our tech may be working out. Are you ready? She's like, yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. All right, hold on here. Let me get myself together. Hold on, ma'am. Hold on. I'm telling you guys, if the good Lord lets me get this voice thing together, I might just put out an album next year. I'm just gonna put it out there for you. Just when you think Gwendolyn can't do all the things, I am going to do all the things, because that's what I do. Let's see here. Let's bring her in. Hello, Jha, how are you?
I'm making it happen.
She said, I'm making it happen. All right, now, I just want you to know how I'm feeling this evening, okay?
Right.
I'm sipping on an espresso teeny, right? Because, you know, I was zipping and zagging down to College Station yesterday. Had to see my grandbaby. And I'm feeling it. Now, there was a time where I could get on 45 South and do some stuff and come right back. That time has passed me. I am realizing that now. But until then, we will keep it going. So I just want you to know I am here, and then I am here.
Okay. I'm ready.
Now, before we get started, Jha, what we do here is we do what's called a fast 5. All right. Now, it really isn't that fast. I'm just going to tell you that. It just says it. But we're going to ask you 5 questions, and you get to choose either or. Sound good? And crowd, feel free to participate if you wish, because we love to know what you guys think too. All right. So first one, beach or lake?
Beach.
Beach. So you like the warm waters?
Yeah, I like the beach.
Like the sun, anything? Is there any favorite place, like in terms of vacation, that you always go to?
No, it's no particular place, but as long as it's a beach, I appreciate it.
All right. Does that include Galveston?
Yeah, it includes Galveston. It does. It does. Sometimes it's just the energy, the vibes, the ocean, the feeling. I was thinking about the sand, so it's still somewhere to be. I don't really go for a beach. I don't necessarily got to be in Miami or nothing like that, but something like Galveston is good.
I asked because I remember my first trip to Florida for business. I had a chance to go down to Clearwater. And I was like, is this really the same Gulf of Mexico? Like, this is like night and day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
It can be. All right, here we go. Number 2, phone call or text?
Depends on the person.
All right, explain that one, please. Share.
Depends on the person. You know how it is. Some people, it's just they're better with, say, quick text. But if the conversation can go either way, then it's a phone call. If it's going to be a bit longer, I need to really explain myself and really explain what I'm trying to say. I'm going to do a phone call. But if it's something quick, I'll do text. I'm not big on texting too long paragraphs because that's how messaging mixes through, and it takes time. You got to reread it about 10 times to really make sure you make sense. So I'm more of a phone call.
I agree with that. I have some friends, we do, I want to say our limit is 3. 2.5 to 3 texts are okay, pick up the phone. Because it's too much work. It's too much work.
Yeah, it's like the older I've gotten, the more I appreciate a phone call.
Yes. Right there with you. Right there. All right. Let's talk about this. In person or virtual events?
Oh, in person for sure. That's yeah, in person.
I'm 50. I like them both. I have to be I will say, because, I'm that introvert with extrovert tendencies. I got to be in the mood for the whole in-person thing, Sometimes I'm ripe and ready. Other times I'm not today, Satan. Just no. I'm going to go ahead and call it what it is. All right, here's one. Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans.
Oh, Texans.
Now, I will say this. I think people recognize that I'm just not a fan of Dallas in any sense of the word. It is what it is. It's okay. And now this one is slightly controversial for those who understand, but are you north side or south side?
Oh, south side, sure.
Now, for those who don't
nothing on the north.
For those who don't know. Now, Jha, you are a native Houstonian, yes?
Yes. Born and raised.
And in Houston, and Jha had a post that just really brought back some memories for me. But Houston is a extremely large city. You've never visited, never had to drive through. You won't get it until you are in it. And there is the south side of Houston and there is the north side of Houston. And even though you're in the same city, seeing your family, your friends on the north side is a trip. It's a job, right? Now, when I was in school, people on the north side were kind of janky. I still believe that. I'm gonna stick to it.
It's always been that connotation about the north side where it's nobody on the north.
There is something different about people on the north side. There is something that's just not quite right. I can't explain it, but they are some kind of special over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that. It's just what it is. So, hey, before we move forward, hey, shout out to Dr. Tachi, who is in the building. And we're going to say it again, and shout out and huge congrats to Dr. Tachi with Indie Suit Media. Man, it's really hard because there's some great content going on over there right now, but I'm live over here, so I have to catch the replay. But if you've not subscribed to Indie Soup Media, I am telling you, you guys need to go ahead and get up on that because it is going down over there. But I want to go with this. Miss Jha, tell us, who are you and what is your superpower?
I'm here from, like you said, I'm here from Houston, born and raised. I'm actually, I run a digital marketing agency. I'm a digital marketer by trade or by profession. I train business owners on how they can grow their digital presence using various strategies. I would say that's my superpower as well. I found that a lot of the business owners that gravitate to me or that I work with on a more consistent basis nowadays are those business owners that kind of left behind. They're the business owners that people don't necessarily cater to. They've probably been in business for a few years or maybe decades. And now things are going online and they're kind of getting behind because they just don't understand how technology really works. So I found that they appreciate someone like myself because I'm able to slow it down, not make them feel any type of way. Presentation, explain to them how they can take advantage no matter whatever level that they might be at. So I feel like that's my superpower.
Sweet. And I do know this. I follow Jha on Instagram, and there is a very personable nature to the content that you share. It's very down to earth, easy to digest. And it also makes really good sense because people, like there was one you talked about digital marketing and that they're not one size fits all. I mean, as a photographer, I understand people think you take pictures. Like I do not take pictures, one. Yeah. But two, I don't do newborns. I don't do weddings. Like, we don't do all of the same thing. So you really have to figure out what you're looking for and if that person does provide what you are seeking.
No, definitely. And for a long time, I kind of tried to run away from what I'm doing now because personally, I am a digital marketer. So I always felt like, well, everyone knows that or that's basic, so to speak. And I think a lot of people go through that where you be like, oh, this is basic. But I'm like, no, you'll be surprised how many people do not know this information and they appreciate somebody like yourself that can just make it it's like A, B, C, it's like this is what you need. I think a lot of times digital marketers kind of make it complicated, sometimes on purpose and sometimes on accident, where they lose people. They talk in all this marketing language. They're talking about all these things. And sometimes, and it's no shade to anybody in the marketing industry by no means at all, but sometimes it's not needed. For most business owners, they don't need all this stuff that sometimes a marketer might be talking about, like, oh, you need to go do this and this and this and all these things. It's like, they just need to send an email consistently. Like, they don't even send emails consistently. You try to teach them how to do all of this, and it's like, come on, it doesn't work. So, I try to keep it as basic as possible. I realize that people appreciate that.
I will say, I will second that. I was chatting with some friends last year as they were looking for a digital marketer. And when I read what they were doing, it does come across as, I don't believe it was intentional, but it kind of felt slightly, because you put in all this jargon and it's like, you could just say, I'm going to do this and this, and it's going to cost you this much money. It could be that easy. Versus, because he's like, I don't understand what I'm reading. Can you decipher? It's like, yeah, sure. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, yeah. So I don't know if it's on purpose to sort of say, this is why I'm charging you all this money, or is it because you don't know how to communicate? I'm not really sure.
From both sides, I would say sometimes it might be a little bit of both, like you're saying, but I think the only reason I like to believe some marketers do that is because sometimes when you make it seem like ABC, people feel as if it's that easy, so they don't understand sometimes why you're charging them that much. Not understand. That's like, for instance, for example, monitoring social media. When you just like monitor social media, people now equate that to, oh, $200, I can get somebody on Fiverr, Upwork to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's not that much. But when you really are monitoring somebody's social media and looking for growth, especially if they're in a product-based industry where their business is used on social media, monitoring social media means a lot for them, and it's going to come at a pretty penny. But again, when you just say monitor social media, some people that might think it's easy, like, oh, you just making a video, but it's like, no, they're doing a lot more than just making videos. I think from a marketer perspective, sometimes they do that because they want, yes, it seems like they're doing a lot because they are. Sometimes they just say, oh, monitor your social media, it is going to be $1,500. Sometimes people doesn't equate that. Why is it that much? And I realized that all of what it takes to record content, post content consistently, and then have it created and all these type of things. So I think it's a good way to sort of both ends sometimes.
You know, as a photographer, when people call and say, well, it's just a headshot, it's like, ma'am, not today, ma'am. Because if it's just a headshot, if it's just the cap, it's not the gown, it's like,
right. Yeah, exactly. They don't understand. So sometimes you gotta give them a lot of jargon, so just to make them feel better about the price, where it's like, no, you just don't get it. I guess, most people aren't creative, so they don't get it.
That is true. That part is true. Before we get into your 5 tips for effective digital marketing, tell us about Endless 8 marketing, would you please?
Yeah, for sure. So we started out officially July 2018. So we're coming up on 6 years actually. And started out as a marketing agency where, we're doing website design, content strategy, social media management. I learned how to do various aspects of digital marketing. So I'm versed in all aspects of digital marketing. And at first, I was kind of not frowned upon, but it didn't make a lot of sense then. But stuff that don't make a lot of sense, like why you're doing it always doesn't make sense, because I always got one of those type of things where you need to specialize in this or specialize in that, which I can see why that can be true. But now that I started out in a way of where I'm able to be versed in all aspects of digital marketing as I've grown and now have different people on my team, one, I understand what goes into all the work that they're doing from that aspect, so that's helped out a lot. But also, two, it's allowed me to be versed and lead into my Endless Marketing 2.0, which is the training aspect. So a large part of our business over the last 18 months has been training. So I go inside various organizations here in the community locally, kind of the outskirts, and I train. So I train within like a small business development center that offers resources for our business owners. I train within several women business center groups and things of that nature. I train within different schools, community college. I've trained at Prairie View University in my town. So they'll bring me in and I can train students, faculty, or the staff on various aspects of digital marketing. So going back to learning all these aspects of digital marketing, it makes sense now to where I'm able to. That's one of my unique propositions as a trainer, and I found that out earlier this year, where most people, when they come in, they can say, well, I can train. They might have one presentation. Somebody like myself, I have about 6 presentations. So I have one on LinkedIn, I have one on Instagram, I have one on just digital marketing as a whole and how you monitor your digital marketing presence. So I'm able to have various different presentations, again, because I started out as a marketing agency that did so many things. So now a big part of our business focus on training and consulting with business owners and organizations.
Sweet. And what's interesting, as we shout out our fellow guest, community, David is in the building. He says, yes, all the behind the scenes people don't always. I tell people, the moment you put just into your mouth, you are intended to minimize the work that somebody does. I advise you not to do it. Okay? Because if it was so easy, you wouldn't be reaching out to a professional.
That too, and I think people, sometimes they don't realize it. I can even see sometimes I might say just, but I'm pretty good at what I'm saying. So I always stop myself or don't say it, or even like, oh man, people say little, I don't think all the time some people are saying little on purpose. I'm one of the people that try to feel like people are good people to a certain extent. So I think sometimes it's just a cultural thing. Well, I see you little, like it's just something like you just talking, but because I even kind of catch myself to a certain extent, but I always pay attention to what I'm saying great majority of the time. So I'm always good at stopping myself, like, no, ain't little about it, So I think sometimes it's just you're just talking. You just talking. It's like, oh man, but But just the little, depending on how many times they say it could be like they minimize it, and sometimes, give them a little grace to see if they're able to catch themselves. Because I'm glad we give me grace and allow me to say, catch myself like, oh, I'm like, not just, but what I'm trying to say is, like it really, get it down.
We're all in the same boat. I am like you. I do listen to myself. We talk about not using try, not using should, or need, but little is one of those. And trust your gut. There are some people that when the energy is just, and like, oh, I see your little show on TV. It's like,
yeah, it's like, yeah, no, that's
okay. We trying to be shady this evening. All right, well, we could match energy, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. So let's do this. Tell us, you have for us 5 tips for effective digital marketing. And I will say the majority of the people in this crowd who's going to watch now and in the future in the replay happen to be solopreneurs, small business leaders, entrepreneurs, and in other industries. So what's your number 1 tip?
I would say my first tip is you have to figure out what are the digital marketing aspects that work for your business. So actually have a plan. That's the biggest thing. So we have to figure out before we even start digital marketing, what is our plan? Our plan, meaning what mediums are you going to use? If we are using the mediums, what are our expectations from these mediums? Like I tell people, sometimes service-based businesses, social media is a good place for you, but it might be more of a brand awareness place instead of a driving sales type of place where it would be for somebody that's selling a low-cost product. So just really understanding the different mediums that we're using as it relates to digital marketing and having a plan before we just start doing too much. Because sometimes you put a lot of emphasis on, let's say, TikTok. And it's like, well, TikTok's not even where your client's really at. You need to have a presence on TikTok and post every now and then, but it is somewhere where you have to be stressed and mad at yourself because you didn't post, for that day, So it's one of those type of things. Like if you have a plan, you can kind of know where you need to spend most of the time.
If I may go there really quick, and I'm going to try not to go down these rabbit holes.
Okay.
But because I can quickly go down a rabbit hole. But I do believe it is important to stress, as you mentioned, what medium you want to use and what your plan is. Because if you just get caught up in looking at what is shared on TV, on some social platform, people will have the idea that they need to be everywhere for everybody. And the fact of the matter is, as you mentioned, if your customer's not on TikTok, why are you there?
Right.
Why put any energy there? Or why give into the idea of, I have to do Snapchat and I have to do this? Is like, but do you? Is that part of your overall strategy? Like, it's good to know exactly where you want to go and why you're using what you're using.
No, it is, and I think a lot of times, especially most of the consultants I work with are service-based. It's very rare if ever we work with e-commerce at this stage of our business. We really specialize in service-based businesses. And what I've noticed working with service-based businesses is a great majority of them, a few things. The first thing is social media sometimes is just a brand awareness place for them. Mm-hmm. And another thing about service-based businesses is you are not selling a product typically that somebody needs. Your turnaround for social media takes longer. So if somebody is on there and it depends on the service, because when I think about it, I'm like, well, let's say, even a lash tech. Let's say you got a lash tech on there. That would be a quick turnaround. But nowadays, you hear about who they go to for their lashes. So they might follow you for 3 months before they actually make the appointment. So even something like that, now as I'm talking, I'm thinking, well, maybe this, I'm always going to devil's advocate, but if you're in a service-based business, typically most service-based businesses, it takes longer for you to convert a customer on social media than it does for somebody that's selling a product such as a finished shoe or something of that nature. Sometimes it takes them about the same amount of time, but it's just easier to grab some time for somebody that's selling a product that somebody can purchase, have, and get, especially if it's a low-cost product, like let's say $25 or something. They're willing to spend versus, let's say, your massage therapist. They can see your post for about 4 months before they actually make a actual purchase from you. So when you think about digital marketing, and as I'm working with service-based businesses, I have noticed understanding that for a lot of them, social media is our present space, but we have to have other mediums going, because if we're waiting on, customers to come to us from social media, it's going to take us a minute. It's going to take us a minute. And most of the service-based businesses, their products are not even low cost. So when I even mention like a lash set, I learned lashes cost like $100. It's like, so it's not even, so even something like that where you just think, oh, that's fair, but it's like that costs, even nails. It was like, that's a lot of, so it's not too many services that are just low cost where people are like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get that, or go there and do that, as it is for product-based business.
Yeah, we were talking with in our accountability group that, and I remember, I'm sure the number has changed now, but it was always said that a person needs to see your ad or what have you 7 to 8 times before they even start to recognize it. So, and there's so much, in my opinion, so much noise now. I'm like, they gotta see like maybe 10, 12, 16 times before they actually act on it, because there's just so much going on.
And supposedly it's went up to where somebody has to see it even more before they do it. I heard now like 11 or 12 times, but that can go either way.
Yeah, I believe that. All right, that was, hey, number one, people. Know your mediums, have a plan. What's your second tip?
I would say, besides having a plan and knowing where you want to go, you also want to make sure that anything that you're putting into play is feasible, based on the capacity that you currently have. Because sometimes we can make a plan or have a plan, and I'm teaching my business owners this now, where before I give you a marketing strategy that works together one-on-one, the thing that comes with it is the actual plan. I'll make a plan for you and deploy it to you, but I'm basing this plan on your capacity. Do you have a team that actually is in place that's going to help you? Is it just let's go through it? Do you have the capacity to create business? What is your capacity? How many hours a week do you have to commit to growing your business based on this plan? So after really that should be number one, the capacity, and then the actual plan if you're working with me. But even if you're doing this on your own, come up with a plan that you want to do, but based on the plan that you have, figure out what would the capacity be? Do I need to hire somebody, maybe part-time or freelance, to actually help me hit the goals? Because it's one thing to have a plan, but if your capacity is not there with that plan, then the plan won't work.
We were chatting, was it this morning? I don't know, I think it was this morning. No, it was a few months ago, maybe a few weeks. It doesn't matter, time is time. I will say this, there was a conversation held. She was like, get it together, G-Damn. Okay, there was a conversation held, and I was sharing with your friends who was working on some content. I said, look, if you need some help, I am here to help out any way I can, right? Because there is a place where, as an entrepreneur, we often do tend to work in silos and work alone. And I'm just saying, not everybody has a community or a set of friends who are willing to assist in creating content. And I do recall telling you that I have, because you were talking about just get started, post that video, get it out there. And I was like, okay, so I have the videos, but I don't know why I can't seem to post them all, and then I create new content. Now, I will say this, I am still using all of my content. I don't believe in any content being left behind. It's gonna get out. It may be a year later, but dadgummit, I set it free, and it's still on time. You know what I'm saying? But that part about capacity is, I can see where it should be number one. It could probably tie, because a lot of us, some of us, want to do all things. Hello, Virgo. How are you? I'm good. Some of us want to do all the things, and we go ham. And then there are others that are like, I can't even get the one because either I'm doing all this other stuff, or I have the full-time job and I'm building my small business. So just recognizing what you're available to truly tackle, that's going to save you some stress. I have to definitely say I agree with number 2. That's a good one. Because it can get out of pocket really fast.
That, and I don't think people think about it. They typically aren't thinking about the capacity that they It takes a lot. It's just, and that's just kind of the point. And I think you're not thinking, most people aren't, because you don't think about it. If you've done it before, if you're in the marketing industry, where it's like, all this sounds good and it sounds peaceful, but we have days where we just don't want to do it, or we just can't do it. We just are too busy to where we're not into it. I have days like that where I'm just so bad at myself, but I give myself grace. Like, there was no way you were going to get to that. This is like, there's no way possible. So, that's something that we're thinking about.
That was me today. I was like, I'm here and I'm fighting sleep, and I'm 5 steps from going taking this nap because I just need to take the nap. But I get it. Like I said, I recorded 5 more videos on Sunday.
But you got them. And I teach business owners that too. Like, sometimes, just like you're doing, even if you record it, you got to post it. It's content. You know, because that week when you're feeling powerful, hey, you know, you got the content already. All you got to do is edit it.
Oh, I got some content, Jha. I got it at this point. Like I said, I have a year and a half of waiting. It's going to get there.
You got the content.
It will definitely get there. And I want to say, David says, yes, ask for help. That is true. If you have a great circle of people around you, they will more than happy, I'm just speaking for my group because I got some good people, they will more than happy to help you out any way possible. But you know, you got to get around the right people. Hey, shout out to Cass Lou, who is in here. Blessed and tenacious Tuesday to you too, ma'am. Gary says, glad you took the nap. Actually, I did not, sir. I did not take that nap. I'm not even going to lie like that. It was in the plan. The plan didn't happen. That's why I'm drinking this espresso teeny. Yes, there was not a nap involved today. What can I tell you? It's going to work out eventually, though. And Cass also says, true, ask for help. Has to be the right help and someone that gets it. I agree with that too. 2, what's your third tip? What do you have for us?
I would say, okay, we're making the plan. We're actually checking our capacity and seeing what is feasible to get it done. Another thing that most business owners, and it's hard, but staying up to date. So a lot of what I've been talking about lately has been in the realm of AI, but besides it being AI, just staying up to date. And these are no particular order. You know, I'm like, well, that could have been now, but staying up to date on what's happening and how can this help the business grow. So big talk is AI and all things AI can do. Just taking one software at a time. They can get overwhelming trying to use all of them, but figuring out what's the new thing, staying up to date, because at the core, you got to stay ahead of the competition. That's the biggest thing. But just staying up to date on what's happening in the marketing realm is very helpful. It doesn't take, sometimes you having a marketing consultant or strategy on your team, you need to be plugged into different channels that are consistently feeding out marketing news. That's how I stay up to date. Marketing news and just feeding myself what's happening on different newsletters and email lists. And that's how I stay up to date. Be privy to what's going on in the industry.
Sweet. Hey, since we're here, we're talking about that. I'm gonna dive down a quick rabbit hole for the crowd. How many of you are currently using AI in some capacity for what you do? Because I know as a photographer, people are like, oh my God, AI is going to take our jobs. Cut it out. Stop. Okay, like stop. Can AI create some stuff? Yes, it can. But what we do, I know what I do, AI software cannot duplicate that. It can't do that. Now, do I leverage AI in my business? Yes, I most certainly do. I sure do. And people have said that AI isn't going to replace us, but those who choose not to leverage it in their business may miss out. Yeah, they very well miss out. So have you found the people you're working with have some hesitation, or are they concerned about AI, or is it truly they're not aware of just how much it can save them time and enhance their customers' experience?
I think it's a mix, depending on the person, like anything. Depending on the person, you do have some that are scared. You have some that are just not aware of anything that it can do. Then you have those that are taking advantage of it. So depending on the person and their level of where they're at, it kind of depends on if they're actually using it forward and that nature. So even within marketing now, because of the client base, although there's certain businesses, some of them are different. they've never even looked at a computer. And some of them are, they're always, they're tech savvy, they want to take this to the next level based on marketing they're already doing. So, really,
yeah, I know. A friend, was it Gary? You and I met a gentleman who, if I can get Paul to come on here. Paul has AI bots. Like, is it 3 or 4 of them, Gary, that are writing for him? And sometimes, if he asks them to, they go into discussions about individual topics. And I was like, wait, what? Like, he on some other level. Right? Some whole other level. But when I said, I was like, okay, how do I get this into my business? How do I do that? So everybody's in a different place when it comes to it. But when you stop to see, because so far, I don't know if you've seen it, but it appears that when people write about AI, they always write about what it takes away versus how it can enhance. And it just seems like they're going more with the fear factor side of it versus saying, here's how AI can do blah, blah, blah for you and your business, your job, your life, right? Everything has been...
I've seen a bit. I follow this guy on Instagram. I forgot his name. Mr. Crazy. I've seen him. He's always talking about the benefits of AI and what it can do. I think some people talk about the threat, but I see people that aren't threatened by it. Usually make those type of videos. I remember he made a video recently that was talking about, like, he used AI to get a certain type of tattoo. And I was reading the comments, and you just see how many tattoo artists were curious with this post, because they're like, this can never replace humans. This can never replace you. Just get a tattoo artist. Why are you using AI to, this type of creativity? So I think most of the time, people are talking about threats or that have a threatful commentary around it. People that feel threatened by it. I was also watching. I just made a post. Carousel that I posted with Seth Godin. It's just like, if you are mediocre, then AI will potentially take what you have going. So that's the thing. If you live in an age now where you just and I think that's what everybody is not liking about AI is in some of the mundane or the things that are simple to get done at this point. Simple is relative. So if you are mediocre, or if what you're doing or producing is mediocre, then it can potentially take over what you have going.
Completely, because if you are delivering a great product, staying up, as you say, staying up to date, all you have to do is learn how to leverage it. Right. So yeah, Barry says 2 that talk back and forth. Yes, and he is the tiebreaker. I know. It was, when I say insane. We're going to have to definitely get him to share. David said he uses Magic Write, is limited, but it helps us out of Canva, right? And Gary's also saying, yeah, the fact that this guy, his smart house is not, it's a genius house because it's doing some stuff that I didn't even know you could create bots to do. Yeah, very interesting. He also says AI written in Canva. Gary says he uses AI as well, about to get another tool by the end of tomorrow. I hope you're not addicted. He has discovered AppSumo. Okay. So we know what happens when people can AppSumo. Don't be scared to learn. Yes. Cass also talks about getting the, wait a minute, let me go this first. Would you suggest any automated systems along with AI or apps? Hey, since we're talking about it, what are your thoughts? Would you suggest any automated systems? I mean, I know how I feel about automation. Time saver.
I don't personally, only because my business is so personable. I don't use any automated systems because I have a very personable business, and I like it that way. So I would say AI, to be honest, AI systems, they are to a certain extent automated systems. So it's kind of the same thing, or can be looked at as the same thing. AI or rather a AI tool can be looked at as an automated essentially. So they're in the same boat. But I like recommend any tools? No, necessarily. But there's these two platforms. One is called it's several of them, but I know two off the top of my head. One's called Top App, Top APS, Top Apps. .ai, and it tells you AI directory. So these are just AI directories where, and this is what I get business owners, I don't recommend necessarily any AI tool specific, but it's two different directories that I found, and I know it's many more, that they have a directory of thousands of AI tools. So kind of like, I believe his name is Gary, you're able to download as many as you, try out as many as you like, because everybody's business is different. So I don't necessarily vouch for anyone specifically, but I do give out topapps.ai and .ai, which are two directories that have thousands of AI tools, and you pick one based on like what you need. So if you need like photography, if you need an assistant, if you're looking for automations, if you're looking for a project manager, they kind of got them segmented there, and there's different options, and based on your needs, you're able to download.
That makes sense. I think I shouldn't say I think. I do believe when people talk about different software, what have you, we are not one size fits all, right? So what works best for one person may not work best for you. It could be too much, or it may not be enough. So very good point on that one. Tanya says she uses AI and she leverage is the word. Just use it as a tool, not a crutch. And yes, lawyers use AI. What? Are you sharing the secrets, ma'am? You're sharing the secrets. David said computers are going to replace us. I don't. Okay, so let me say this. I'm happy. I love this discussion. I really do, because I've always told my team when I was training that these are just tools, right? And I use how we get around. Like, you have 2 feet. So if your car breaks down, you could always just walk to work. You take the bus to work.
Right.
You could take the bike. It's still another way to get to work. You could take an Uber or a Lyft now, right? It's still a tool to get to work. But that doesn't mean because your car broke down that you can't get to work.
Right.
There is still. We used to talk about, because I worked in retail, and it was one of the VP. She said, look, if you only have to have one register open, you can still open the store with or without power. Why? Because we have calculators, or we have digits to count money, to add, right? It doesn't stop you from opening the store. So we're using these tools daily, our phone, those like any kind of editing software, your computer, whatever you put in, it spits out. So if you put in some bad info, you get some bad stuff coming out. It's just a tool. It is just a tool. But I don't see these tools replacing us. I don't see it. I will say this though, because somebody owes me still. If I can get that George Jetson kitchen, trust, I don't care. I want to take a little bit of something, throw it into a pot, put it in this little fancy microwave, get a whole meal in like 5 minutes. I am down for that. I'm still waiting on that. That's new technology. All this other stuff, I don't know. That I'm okay with, but I don't see any of these tools replacing humanity. I don't see it, because it's just a tool. That's just me. Let me get off my soapbox. Let me put it away. So AppSumo is the drug. Thank you, as he scratches his neck. And Cass says thank you for those suggestions. Gary also says that is great advice. And David's like, it's a new way to navigate. It is. It has always been a new way to navigate. People talked about when the internet came that catalogs would go away. It was false. There is actually an uptick in catalog. Why? Because your human eyes can't look at that screen for a very long time. It is tiring, right? People still want to take something physical and fold pages and circle things. Can't explain the habit. It is still there.
Definitely for myself, I'm even big on people like some, you don't have a digital card. And I was thinking earlier, I'm like, I guess I'll go ahead and create one. But I'm not really big on digital cards, because once I save your number in my phone, I'm not going to look at your number again. So I am very big still on physical cards. If I have your physical card, I'm more likely to remember you, I'm more likely to pick up the conversation, follow up, versus if I have a digital card. Like even if I save it for, I have 20 numbers, I don't know where this came from. But I just really, I'll make it digital card just so people have it. I'm always big on getting somebody else's information. I know I'm all up.
Now, Jha, are you telling me that somewhere secretly you have a Rolodex? Is that what you're saying?
I have something similar, yes.
She's like, yes, I do. And it may make a comeback. It may very well. Tanya says, not all doom and gloom. Be careful what you use, of course, but it's an enhancement tool. People screaming about AI, relying on Google like gospel. Pull out your encyclopedia then. Okay. Now I'm not gonna say, but I still have a couple of our encyclopedias, I'm not gonna lie. And I think it's more for nostalgia.
Yeah. It is nostalgic.
But what can I tell you, right? Like, them encyclopedias went hard back in the day. So, hey. All right. So that was what, 3? Was that 3 tips?
Yes, we're 3.
That was 3. All right. Number 4. What do you have for us, ma'am?
Make sure you're paying attention, and this AI can probably help you with this. This might help you. Make sure you're paying attention to your analytics. That just goes back to the plan. So if you're not really looking at what's working or tracking what's working, then it's hard to keep doing what's working. Sometimes we might do something and we might not see results for that month, but for tracking that last month, that's what brought in most of our leads. It might just be a slow month, or it might just be an off month, or we may have stopped doing something that we were doing in the past and helping that out. So make sure you're tracking. Make sure you're tracking and keeping up with the analytics. And then there's several AI tools that you can push data in, you analyze data. You're doing just all this throughout the world where you have your plan. So always going back and saying, where did the last 5 customers come from? Where did the last 10 customers come from? Where did they find? That's what you can track where the sales are happening within the business.
And I admit, I use my AI to get my numbers, because after years of running reports, I don't want to do not another one.
Yeah.
I have no desires. Like, I'm gonna throw these numbers in here, I'm gonna let you do the job, and I'm gonna be happy, and I'm okay with it. So, love that. All right, number 5.
And this one it's not necessarily a digital marketing tool, but it's just a marketing tool as a whole. That's marketing tool most people forget about, which is, don't forget about referrals. Although I am a digital marketer, I'm still heavy on networking. I'm still heavy on referrals. Kind of how I just alluded to with the last 5 clients. I think about, where did my last 5 clients come from? At least 3 of them came from referrals. So from somebody I met in an event, I might be at an event and then have them follow me on social media. So now, again, they're in my funnel, so to speak, of being my content, being what I'm doing, kind of staying top of mind with them. So that would be my last tip, but it's also one of the biggest ones, which is, don't forget about the traditional aspect of marketing, especially if you are in a service-based business. I can't stress that enough, because if you're just relying on digital marketing, they have gotten so competitive, and it can really chew you up and now if you're relying on, I need to make content, I need to do this and that. Don't forget about actually just referrals, networking. Even if you are like, hey, I don't like to go to club events. Nowadays, people do online, so make sure you're in the chat. Make sure you're talking about it. Make sure you're in the chat. They can also what it is you do. Another thing I do is, you can see everybody that's online sometimes from your event. So if you're things like LinkedIn, while you're on the call, just taking their names and trying to find them on LinkedIn based on what they said in their picture. Like, just finding those different ways to still connect with people, even if it's not strictly from something like a digital marketing, like an email, or like, they found me on social media, they found me on Google, let's take advantage of that traditional marketing aspect of this networking and referrals.
I gotta say, I know I met Tanya through a virtual event, and I remember just this past week, I want to say, although she was not in the room yet, there was a person who was saying, hey, if you need someone to do this, Tanya's a great lawyer, da 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 da. And it's like, yeah, good old fashioned networking still works, right? People will look at reviews and what have you, but they also still trust their family and friends to say, hey, who did your so-and-so, or where'd you get that blah, blah, blah from? And they'll ask questions. And if it works well for that person, they will typically say, oh, then you should try so-and-so because X, Y, Z, and yada, yada, yada. That still works extremely well. So I love that as our number 5 tip, because networking is still there. You just, not that you can't talk to people. I mean, that I don't know how that works for business, but talking to people still works. It still works. I know I'm not influenced by the influencers. I am still word of mouth. I'm a word, but I'm also I'm old school. I'm old school.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of the time, those are the people that it cuts the trust factor in half. Like if someone tells someone about your business, notice they don't go through the whole, hard up. Can I see this? Can I see that? Can I see this? It's more so just how much is it? Because so and so told me about you. They use you. They trust you. Yeah. It makes the selling aspect way smoother. You just go.
Tanya says, "Oh, me too." On the you got encyclopedias. You're missing some letters, but they forgot. Oh, Ask Jeeves, yeah, and Google search was innovation and didn't take away from you having to know and do things for yourself. We forget. Whenever something new comes on the screen and we start screaming like the sky is falling, it's like, cut it out. Cut it out. I mean, I took typewriting class in high school. Took typewriting class in high school, people. And then the word processor came out. And next thing we know, we had computers in a computer lab. And it was like, oh, okay. I don't even know if people know how to type. I mean, I think they do. Versus the whole pecking thing. I didn't go down that whole. I'm sorry, Lord bless. Let me get focused here, because But I know from this crowd, I'm not the only one who took typewriting class, so I'm gonna let y'all judge that as you see fit. Tell me this, Jha. For those who want to start a business, do you have any advice for them? Because at the moment, everybody, it appears, is attracted to the life of the entrepreneur. And if you look at social media, we're out here on our yachts opening up bottles of Cristal every day. But those of us who really know, that is just not the case. What advice do you have?
It's something that if you want to do, you just have to be prepared for it. Prepare to the best of your abilities. And if you can, for any reason, have a job and have a, let's say, quote unquote, good job that's helping, paying things for you. Don't be so fast, just, leave them, I would say, because sometimes, the universe has an interesting way of doing things where business can be good for months, and then all of a sudden you leave your job and now business slows down. So it's like, just ensure while you are starting your business, prior to really just jumping in full-fledged, be mentally prepared for one, because things are going to start out what's going on, but also to understand that it's not very, very hard. It can be very hard at times. Like we just had tax season for everybody, not just business owners, and you having to file taxes, and depending on how big you grow your business and what's your classification, you having to pay taxes, pay back, you get double tax because you have to now pay for your Social Security tax, but you got to pay for yourself, and it's like you're paying for the business and you're paying for yourself because you are an employee. So you do be double taxed in that way. So depending on how big you grow your business, and that's stuff that you usually don't think about because you work for an employer, you still take it out of your check once and it's all good, but your employer is also paying it as well, but you don't know about them paying it because you don't run the business. When you start running your business, you're like, oh wow. So even just think that when it comes to that, and just make sure that you're mentally part of this are going to start it, and try to stay with whatever employment time you have as long as possible before you just jump full-fledged into it. not hard. Basically, if entrepreneurs, how hard entrepreneurs before they started, they might not never start. I'm like, they have a point. I can't explain how hard it is, but I don't want to sound like a broken record. It's like, oh, it's hard, everything's hard. Yeah, everything's hard, but it's a different type of hard. I'm always learning. As an employee, sometimes it's like off your learning. You're doing that, and I'm not saying it's the way, but you're looking at sometimes the same mundane things every single day. So you really don't have to stay on top. You don't got to innovate. You don't have to be looking over your shoulder too much about who's coming, you got people that want to take your job, but it's just certain levels when you come in, from a employer aspect, they got to learn your business and they got to learn this. So you can see it coming, but as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's hard to see the competition coming because this world is so big. You can be something so great, and then next week you find somebody that's now the competition. Where did they come from? How did they, you didn't even see it coming. So it's like, you gotta always be innovating. You gotta always be watching your back. Because somebody's always it's not, we're not all in competition with each other, but it's just the rule of life. Like, you have to be, because if not, you're gonna be the one that's out of business. So you gotta avoid you are for you, but you gotta also be innovating and staying so they can find you. It's just hard, it's like, man, it's hard. But it's rewarding though, because once you do it, you're like, oh, I can do anything. It gives you empowerment. It gives you all these great things, make you feel good about yourself when it becomes a success. But it is something that you consistently working at. You work all day sometimes. People say work-life balance. They try to get all these tactics, as an entrepreneur that you can do. But when you first start your business, for the first few years, sometimes I know business owners that have been in business for decades and they make good money and they're still working all the time and still thinking about their future, because one is something that they love to do, so it doesn't even seem like work. But two, it's like, no, like it's very hard to just be away from it for too long without being like, so that's the advice I give you. Make sure you have to get mentally prepared for it. That's the way to get mentally prepared is stay at your job, because you'll have money to be. When you don't have money and trying to pay your bills, it's hard to stay mentally prepared.
Have a plan.
Yeah,
I've seen people.
Have a plan. You gotta have a plan. Have a legit plan, not something that's like
plan.
Don't live on hope. Every miracles happen, and it's a blessing. Things happen to you that you should be blessed about. But if you can run through life and have a legit plan, that I don't like people who are illogical. I don't know, so unlogical. But when you're first getting into it, if you can be as logical as possible, it'll help stop a lot of things from happening.
I think there was a person who was asking about that. I remember saying, use your full-time job as the launch pad to invest into your business, because you want to have a plan and work your way out of your full-time position and start moving towards this. But just jumping out, not that you can't do it. Personally, I'm not that kind of gambler. It's not how I'm built. So I'm with you. Like, have a plan and recognize too, as I look at some of these comments, typing 101, 102, and 103. Man, I'm sitting here thinking about going through that, and never mind. Let me stay focused. People don't understand, as you mentioned, that running your business, operating it, you are now a business leader. So it's not just, I'm here and I got to do this. It's like, no, it's so much bigger than that. And if you don't have that financial and business acumen behind you, you need to get to it, because that's some serious stuff. As I paid my sales taxes the other day, and I saved all of 58 cents because I paid early. Thank you, state of Texas. That's what I'm talking about.
My bookkeeper just said, I said, isn't that dude? Because I'm always like, oh man, I always got to pay them like 50. I have another LLC. Probably have to pay them like $100 sometimes. I'm like, oh my God. They always want that money. But he said it's doing May. And I was like, oh, okay. I need to go ahead and file that before it slips my mind and I'm getting a letter. And I'm like, I pay them, but a few times I do pay it on time, but those I have paid them a few times, $100.
Yes. I put it on my calendar the first time I forgot. I was like, what? Wait, what? How did I miss it? Yeah. I only had to miss it one time. I was like, and never again.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you just said that again. Now after this call, you can go ahead. Yeah,
that would hurt. Gary says, love that you told the good and the bad of it all. Yes. Jha is not out on her yacht just sipping Cristal, y'all. She's working. She's really working. So as we wrap this up,
not yet.
She said not yet. What's in the future for you and your business?
No. To be honest, the more and more we're turning it into just training. We're feeling like that's where we're led at. That's where we're called at. That's where people need the most help. And also, like I alluded to earlier, we're staying ahead of the trend. Although AI will not take people's job, unfortunately, for digital marketers, it does. And all of the things that sometimes can do, except for the creativity. It won't be as creative, but a lot of digital marketers aren't necessarily creative. So that's a whole nother thing. But we're just moving into something that it can't do, where it won't be able to train, it won't be able to have a personality, it won't be able to talk, it won't be able to be creative, it won't have empathy. All these things that are human-like, we're taking advantage of moving that direction, because building our websites, creating content, those things, it's not great at it now, but we have to stay ahead of the curve. In the next 5 years, those will be very, so to speak, easier things for it to be able to do. And we don't want to get, a $40 software and having to explain why you should hire us. So you can't hire somebody that can give you an actual marketing plan and understand the business. That's not here yet. Hopefully not in my lifetime. We don't have any iRobots around, so it'll work out for us.
Well, I don't want any robots to take you out, but I am still looking for Rosie, okay? I'm saying one more time. Somebody owes me a George Jetson kitchen, like real talk, because I've been waiting and it ain't, I don't need a smaller phone. I don't need a better camera on the phone. I need a better kitchen. I need a kitchen that will start doing some cooking and cleaning. That's what I'm looking for. And David says, Jha, appreciate you, all the insights.
Oh, yeah,
there you go. There you go. Now, before we wrap it up, how can people follow you, connect with you, get on your email list?
Definitely. You can follow me on any LinkedIn platform. I'm active on LinkedIn and Instagram. You just put in my name, Jha Allen. You'll be able to find me on any social platform, and then from there, you'll start to see my content. Now you're in my social media funnel, so to speak, where you'll see my content. Hopefully you'll attend my workshops if you register to attend any of my workshops, in person or online. That's how I get your information, and you can put it on my email list from there. You do have a small business group for digital marketing Telegram, small business owners, where I just drop tips and things about digital marketing. You can find that on my Instagram, where you can join the group, or just give me a direct message to join the group. If you want to look at anything like a website, just type in JhaAllenLLC.com, endless8marketing.com. Type my name in on Google, and you'll start to see a lot of things where you can find me. You'll be able to find me if you just type in my name. You can find me somewhere.
I have to say, Jha, thank you for giving us your time today. As Gary says, very nice, great show. Thank you, Jha. Dr. Tachi says, this was great. Again, David appreciates you and your insights. It is Jha Allen, as you mentioned, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can find her. I know that's where I'm connected and following Jha because, what can I tell you? And she's a Houstonian, because Houston will rep for Houston all the time.
I tell people I love my city, man.
Because people like, aren't you? Like, no. I'm a Houstonian. Check that.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not too many of us. There's a lot of people that moved here. They might have been here for years, but I'm from Houston, born and raised. Or they're like, oh, I'm from Houston too. Yeah, where are you from, Katie? No.
No.
Now I'm from Houston, Texas.
Houston proper.
Yeah.
As we say, H-Town, get down. That's how we do.
Exactly.
He said Texas. Yes, this is how we roll over here. We are about the hue over here. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in again. And the comments keep coming. Okay, I'm trying to get all the comments in here before I wrap this up. We want to thank Jha again for sharing with all of us, those who are watching live and those who will be watching in the replay, her amazing, effective digital marketing tips. We do appreciate her giving us this time. Again, next week we have Nat. If you are self-sabotaging, you're an entrepreneur and you are doing these self-sabotaging behaviors, Nat is going to help you break that. He'll be sharing his journey. So you want to tune in next week. I think it's Thursday. I don't even know, people. I don't even know. Okay. I know it is scheduled. It is scheduled on YouTube. I'll be sharing more about it, so you can find out when he's going to be here. And last comment, because I keep saying last, but here's the last comment. Great show. Thanks for sharing today and sharing all of your great tips, Jha. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I think I finally got it. I got this espresso teeny. I do want to do this. The GNC Sports Talk Show is coming up at 7 o'clock Central Standard on YouTube. That's Gary and his brother Carrie, the twins. You definitely want to check them out. 7 o'clock. So tune in if you're on YouTube or watching on LinkedIn. So do that. And with that, I'm going to play some outro music.
Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the GR Houston Jack YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.